It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Have you ever listened to a podcast like this one and you wanted to bring up your own point or just chat with other people that are listening at the same time? Well, let me tell you about Spotify Green Room. This is the first social audio platform made just for sports fans. The app is free to download, and once you're in, you can talk with us, other fans, athletes, insiders in real time about your favorite sport or team. Download the app, currently available on iOS devices. Create a profile, link your Twitter, join one of the groups for the latest league updates, and then you'll see us there. Spotify Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. On today's show, we react to Slovenia's second win in the Tokyo Olympics. Luka Doncic leading the charge again. And then Isaac will join me to talk about some... Yeah, the soundboard ain't going anywhere. Rumors in the NBA draft coming up tonight. We'll talk about all that on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
Here's Doncic. Oh, super stuff from Doncic. The no-look pass.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstead, media member and coordinator for the Locked On Podcast Network. And joining me a little bit later, Isaac Harris, contributor at Mavs.com. He will join me in just a little bit, but I am here after Slovenia's big win, another big win over Japan in the group stage. An absolute great group effort, 116-81 for the Slovenian team. Luka Doncic again came in and put up another just great, solid, very casual Luka Doncic game. 25 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds for Luka in just 25 minutes. He got to sit a lot in this game because the Slovenian team was up by a lot. They went up 29-23 after the first quarter, 24-18 after this in the second quarter, and so they had a big lead going to the halftime. They extended it again in the third, and in the fourth quarter, even with Luka on the bench for a lot of it, 36-17, Slovenia outscored Japan. The bench unit just took over, and it was absolutely great to see. And so a couple takeaways from this game. But before we do, I'll give you a couple takeaways from this game. We'll talk about what it means for Slovenia and all that. We'll also talk about the Landry Shamet rumor that came out that the Mavericks are looking to trade for Landry Shamet. So Isaac and I will get into that. Also, a couple of our draft thoughts later in the episode. This episode is brought to you by our Locked On NBA Draft Show, an incredible live show that we're going to be doing tonight. If you're listening, watching this on Thursday, NBA Draft Goat Chad Ford will be joining us. Got to meet him the other day. It was awesome to get to hang out with them. John Corral's hosting. Rafael Barlow from Draft Junkies will be on as well. You get the local expert analysis, and it's all brought to you by Built Bar. Follow Locked On NBA on YouTube and Locked On Network on Twitter. Go follow Locked On Network on Twitter. Great stuff from there. And Locked On NBA on YouTube to go watch the show. All right, so Slovenia, again, they win 116-81, their second win in the group stage here in the Olympics. That's pretty important. I'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, we mentioned Luka Doncic, a casual game. One of the most casual, no-look, straight-up standing passes I've ever seen from Luka. He drives into the paint, and then he kicks out, no look, and just throws it into the corner. Just faked out everybody, faked out broadcasters, faked out the media, faked out people on Twitter. It was an incredible pass from Luka. And that pass represented just this game for him. It just seemed like everything was easy. He could score around the bucket. He could just do everything in this game. He was 2 of 8 from 3, so his 3-ball wasn't hitting the same way it was in that first game, but against Argentina, but it was just an incredible, I don't even want to say incredible anymore. I guess it was incredible to see how chill he was, how in control he was in this game. The 7 assists, he was dishing it out a little bit more in this game than he did in past. And this Japan team, they didn't really go away. It wasn't like they destroyed them and they weren't there. Rui Hachimura, I have to talk about him because he put up an effort in this game. 34 points for Rui Hachimura. He was hitting from all over the place. 13 of 28 from the field. He chucked a couple of shots late, so his field goal percentage is going to be a little worse than it probably should be. He was 3 of 6 from 3, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, had 7 boards as well in this game. He was a minus 24 for the game, but that does not show his effort at all. He was all over the place. He's a fascinating scorer for me because he can hit some of those like Carmelo Anthony type, mid-range type, turnaround shots. And I think that like he hits those really tough shots. He just has to add a couple of easy shots into his arsenal almost, because he can hit the tough ones. It's sort of a weird to watch him play, but it's so fun to watch him play and to see the growth that he's had in his career, and to see him leading this Japan team is really fun. Yuta Watanabe also had a pretty solid game, 17 points for him. He played some pretty solid defense as well. Had a couple of blocks there. Speaking of blocks, Luka, now, did he get one more? I can't remember if he got one more. But Luka Doncic finished with 2 blocks in this game. That means Luka has 5 blocks in 2 Olympic games so far. 5 blocks for Luka. And a couple of them on 3-point shots. He is just, he's doing everything on the court. I saw a couple of people on Twitter say it's so old to say Luka's not a good defender. If you're seeing someone say that Luka is a minus defender or not a good defender at this point, like, just don't listen to them ever again. Right? Like, just don't listen to them ever again. I know it may be taking it out of proportion, these couple of block shots here, but Luka is just not a sub defender. Like, he's just not a liability on that end. He can actually make some plays. His hands to some of the drives from some of the Japanese players was just incredible, how fast he can just swipe down on the ball. Like, it's almost like Dirk taught him how to do that, because Dirk would do that later in his career, and he just had such fast hands, and Luka has that now. And the couple of swipes that he had, the blocks, he's not a sub defender. And I think that, if you see anybody say that Luka is a negative defender, just, I don't know, unfollow them, block them, mute them, do whatever you want. But yeah, not a person you listen to for Luka thoughts anymore. So we mentioned that this is a big win for Slovenia in the group play. The group play lasts until August 1st, so a couple more days here. Slovenia has one more game in the group stage. They have now won their first 2 games against Argentina and Japan, the other 2 teams in their group. The last one is going to be against Spain. If Spain beats Argentina, which has probably already happened by the time you're watching this at 7 a.m. Central Time on Thursday, so it's probably already happened, then the winner of Slovenia-Spain will win the group. So what does that mean? Okay, so Spain and Slovenia and Argentina and Japan are all in the same group here. And the top 2 teams in each group will move on to the knockout stage. They're also going to take the top, 2 of the next 3 third place teams. So I guess you could sort of make it if you don't get in the top 2. There's a chance there, but you definitely want to be in those top 2, and you definitely want to be in the top 4, because then they take the winners of the group. So they take 3 teams and they take the best second place team. How convoluted is this? But they take the winners of the 3 groups. So there's 3 groups. They take the winners of those 3. Then they take the best second place team out of those, and they take all 4 of those teams, and then they put them in a pot. And then they take the rest of the teams that qualify. So the second 2 remaining second place teams, the next 2 third place teams in another pot. And then they make a draw. They basically draw from each side to see who the matchup is. It's not like a generic, okay, well, if Slovenia beats Spain, then they play this team in the knockout stage. There's going to be a draw, and so we'll see. But if Slovenia does beat Spain, then and if Spain beats Argentina, which I'm assuming they're going to, then Slovenia is in that top group automatically. And so they will get a better opponent for them in that knockout stage, which is important. I know, it's confusing. You're probably confused. I had to read it a couple times. There's explainers all over. But basically the big takeaway is Slovenia wants to beat Spain. And they really, if they beat Spain, then they're sitting pretty to get into the knockout stage, to get a good, to get good competition there, and then to get to, I think there's 2 rounds in the knockout stage. Then to get to that gold medal game on August 6th would be an incredible feat for this team. But they're looking good. This Slovenia team is looking really good. They have ball movers. They have, Toby that can rim roll. They have some 3-point shooters that were hitting their shots. Not necessarily in this game, but they have guys that can hit. That Klemen, I can't say his last name, Preplovic, he can hit some shots, man. He can score. Zoran Dragic in this game was absolutely hitting. He was 2 of 3 from 3, but he was 8 of 10 from 2. He had a bunch of points. He had 24 points in this game. He was contributing. Bring on Zoran to the Mavericks. Why not? I mean, just bring in all the Slovenians. I want them all at this point. So this Slovenian team is looking really good. Chanchar had 3 threes in this game. Sabasic came off the bench, and he had 2 threes in 2 minutes. That was that fourth quarter run that the bench went on. Sabasic came in and hit a couple of deep threes. So This Slovenian team is hitting threes, and they didn't even hit them that well in this game. But if they're shooting the way that they are, they're scoring the way that they are, they're moving the ball the way that they are, a bunch of guys with assists as well. Speaking of ball movement, Luka had 7 assists. You had Clement that had 5 assists. You had Jaka that had 3 assists. Toby had 3 assists. Zoran Dragic had 2 assists. Luka Rubnik had 4 assists. Like a bunch of guys with assists there, all dishing it out, passing, moving the ball. This team can score against anybody. 118 points in this game. They scored a lot against Argentina as well. Their offense, it's just Luka. Luka can absolutely drive an offense. It's not just Luka, but Luka is the one that is the engine that starts it all, starts it going, and then boom, they take the note from him. So an incredible win from Slovenia. Really looking forward to that Slovenia-Spain game. By the way, a lot of people are asking me how you watch these games, and they're on Peacock or the NBC app. You have to have you have to either subscribe to Peacock so you can watch it on there, or you go on to the NBC app and you can get every single game. You go to the NBC app or NBC.com and you sign in with a cable subscription, and then you can watch every single game. It's not been fun to try and find some of these games, but that's the way that it is. Coming up, we're going to get into some more about the NBA draft and NBA rumors. Isaac Harris will be joining me. We'll talk about the Landry Shamet rumor and all of that coming up next. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. RockAuto.com has so many different parts available for your car or truck. Go check it right now. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models of cars, it's impossible to know just exactly where to get the right part. And you can get that at RockAuto.com. You can know that it will fit your car exactly because their website is easy to navigate. You can explore the website today, find the solution for your auto part needs. So go there. Why would you want to spend up to 30, 50, 100% more for the same parts? At RockAuto.com, their prices are reliably low for the same, for every single customer. They're the same for your professionals, your mechanics, and the do-it-yourselfers. Go to RockAuto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck right locked on in their How Did You Hear About Us box. They know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com. All right, let's get into some rumors now. And guess what? I'm not getting rid of the soundboard.
I'm destroying it.
You'll not be able to take it away from me. Never, never. So we just talked about Luka Doncic. Now we're going to get into some rumors that actually occurred in the NBA. According to Sportsnet New York, again, this is disinformation season right now. I'm not sure what to make about this coming out of Sportsnet New York, but we're going to talk about possibility.
Begley though? I thought that was Begley.
The Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Lakers are among the teams interested in trading for Brooklyn's Landry Shamet ahead of Thursday's draft. Several teams have communicated with the Nets about possible trades for Shamet. Most of those scenarios involve the Nets receiving the team's first-round pick. Okay, the Dallas Mavericks don't have a first-round pick. Isaac, make this make sense for me.
I can't. Not really, but so for Shamet, it's obviously a shooting two guard, 24 years old. He's been a 38% 3-point shooter last year, 37% the year before, 45% the year before when he played for the Clippers in that stint. So I get it from a roster standpoint of saying, hey, we can always surround Luka with shooters. But for Brooklyn, it's like, why do you get rid of Shamet? It's because he's going to be a restricted free agent. He's going to be up for an extension. Brooklyn's like, hey, I'm paying 1 million other people contracts. There's, extension eligibility for Durant, Harden, Kyrie, all of them. They're probably all going to get some big time bucks. So I get it what they're trying to do. They're probably just trying to reset that spot because they can't pay Shamet whatever he's going to get. It's just for Dallas. Let me just ask you this. Would you rather have Shamet or Dorian?
Is that the option?
I'm just saying, like, for them, like, they probably look at, so Shamet's due $3.7 million. He's going into restricted free agency probably. So he's probably going to get over $4 million in free agency. Right. If you're Brooklyn and you look at somebody like Dallas and you say, okay, well, we'd love to have a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith on our team, and he makes $4 million for the next season or so. So it's like, that's what I'm saying, like, money-wise, who would you rather have? I think I would rather have Dorian over Landry Shamet. So it's stuff like that, Dallas just doesn't have a pick. Would they just absorb Shamet's, 3.7, for a future second-round pick, something like that? Probably not if they could get a low-end first-round pick this year for Shamet.
is this when we find out what they think about a guy like Jalen Brunson, right? If they are like, do we need a Jalen Brunson type? We're going to go out and get Lowry and Dragic, or something like that. If they decide like, all right, we don't need this other guy, but we would like another shooter, so we're going to swap those guys because we think they're equal. Personally, I don't think so. I think Brunson's better than Landry Shamet. Shamet's a better shooter, but I would take Brunson over him just for the all-around game and everything he brings. But it may be that we find out what this front office thinks about a guy like Jalen Brunson. We mentioned Landry Shamet, $3.8 million. So if you're going to do some kind of trade, it has to equal out. So there's just not a ton of options there. Maybe Brooklyn loves Trey Burke. There's just not a ton of different options there for the Mavericks to do in a trade like this, especially considering the rumor included that it would have to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, I wonder if... So Brooklyn also has the 27th pick in the draft, too. So I have something for you. Ooh. It wouldn't help Dallas salary cap-wise, but I wonder what Brooklyn would feel about it. There's obviously guaranteed money going towards a first-round pick. I don't know what that 27th overall pick guaranteed money looks like. Probably a couple $1 million at least on that. So is there... And I don't know as far as money-wise if this would work. Would Shamet in 27 for Maxey work for Brooklyn? And would Dallas do that?
27 pick makes $1.64 million.
Okay. So that would take the trade up for them, up over $5 million. Maxey makes around $8 million?
8.8.
So you're still looking at like a $3 million difference. I don't know how that works as far as cap wise for them, but if you're Brooklyn and you give up 27 pick and Shamet, you get Maxey. I mean, Maxey might legit start on that team with KD and those guys. I mean, he would start over DeAndre Jordan. Would he start over?
Well, he would play the Blake Griffin role, but just a little. Is he better at Blake Griffin than Blake Griffin at a couple things? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. With a fully healthy Brooklyn team, Maxey's perfect for that team. So that's for them. I see that. For Dallas, it's long-term money. If you don't want to, pay Shamet and then he's just gone next year, or, you obviously get the first round pick in that pick 27, you get a draft pick. I don't know. I don't think I would do that if I'm Dallas, but that is the only way that I'm at least like, okay, I could see it for both sides.
And I want to be clear about Maxey, right? We are big believers in we love Maxey. We think he's very valuable. Him and Dorian, we have been very, very strong in our feelings on. I saw a couple comments on YouTube saying you guys are undervaluing Maxey. He's not just a contract
People come at us all the time for saying we wouldn't trade Maxey for guys who they think are better than him.
I think it's new listeners or people that have joined recently because of YouTube or something that have listened to us and are saying we were talking about him with Dwight Powell, with Richardson. They're like, he's not a contract you just go dump. We agree completely, but the Mavericks only have a couple contracts they can go dump if they're going to clear up some money, and he was one of them. It's not that we think that he's not worth his contract. He's completely worth his contract. He's one of the best values the Mavericks have. Sure. But he is just $8.8 million is a chunk of money that you can clear up some cap space if you wanted to increase that amount of cap space you have. So I just want to be clear about that, especially when we're talking about him in a trade like this. I don't know that I would do that Maxey for Shamet and the pick, because who are you getting at 27? I mean, I don't know. I've been doing some draft prep now with our live show that's coming with Chad Ford and Raphael Barlow at WFA Studios. I've been hanging out with them, and I don't think that there's anybody there that would make an immediate impact. I mean, you're hearing rumors of the Lakers trying to trade their pick to go get Buddy Hield. They just want somebody that could come in and contribute right now. And so, I don't see anybody.
I mean, it just depends on who drops. Does Garuba, drop that far? No. I love Trey Murphy, but I think Trey Murphy goes higher than that. I love Ayo, but I mean, if you're getting back Ayo and Shamet for Maxey, you're kind of getting two smaller guards back in that deal. You don't want to do that. You want size. If you're going to get Shamet back and you're losing Maxey in a deal like this, you want to get size back. You get Isaiah Jackson and Shamet.
Might as well just sign Nerlens Noel.
I know. So that's the type of stuff. If when we mention Maxey and you're looking at how Dallas could create more flexibility with free agency next week, there's only 3 contracts that you're really looking at outside of Porzingis, and that's Maxey, Josh Richardson, Dwight Powell. If you had to rank those 3 as far as the 3 that you would rather give up, Maxey's clearly number 3 on that list. I would much rather have to try to figure out something with Jay Rich or Dwight Powell before I would do Maxey, because like you said, he's one of the best values in the league.
Yeah. And there's nobody in that range again that that I would like trade Maxey for right now, at least. I know
No.
that's a short-sighted thing for sure. If the Mavericks are trying to go younger, which we've heard some comments from Nico and Jason Kidd about developing young players, about giving them a chance, about going at, kind of taking their time with Kristaps Porzingis. If they want to do that, then maybe they do something like that. I mean, Maxey is like, we value Maxey as a win now player for sure, but he's $8.8 million this year, $9.1 million. It's non-guaranteed, but they'll pick that up. But he would be an expiring next season. And so, like, maybe they're like, all right, he's got some value now. Let's go get a longer term asset instead of having him. Is his value going to get any higher? He's getting older. All that stuff. Like, they could just be weighing all this stuff, and this is just stuff we don't know yet. So that's what I think of the Shamet rumor right now.
And I know we're about to talk about just like general draft thoughts and everything, but Dallas is fully prepped for draft night. They have the practice court ready to go at the arena. They've been working out players. Yeah, the whole brain trust, whatever we want to call it, the new regime will be there in action. I know, for a lot of, we're obviously pushing our Locked On Mavs, show. It's going to be in the WFAA studio, which looks awesome. Chad Ford, Rafael Barlow, Nick's going to be there. I'm not on the screen though, by the way. Just don't be disappointed. I'll actually be in the arena helping the Mavs with some things, some live stream stuff with draft. But I say that because we're going to be close to the war room with Nico, Jason, Kidd, and everybody. So, if there's anything that goes down, make sure you're following us on Twitter. We can obviously talk about all of that. If anything fun goes down, it just goes to show you that like Dallas, even though without a pick, I mean, they're fully prepping this for some, if there's some big things happen, because this is when all this talk, everything happens. And yeah, they're approaching it just like they have a pick like a normal year. So we'll see. 100%. There you go. So that's the Leonard Shamet rumor. Coming up, we got to get into a couple more things going on right now. Michael Finley, there's some news about him. The Mavs Summer League, we got some news about that. And then we're going to give our general NBA draft thoughts going into what to expect if you're a Mavericks fan. We'll get into that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Bet Online. BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to put some money down on sports. You want to put some more money down on Luka Doncic in Slovenia? You can. Go there. Go to basketball. Go to Olympics. You can check that out. The U.S. women right now, Team USA, a minus 19.5 point favorite over Japan in their next game. So if you want to put some money down on that, that is a massive spread. Belgium is a 29-point favorite over Puerto Rico. Is Belgium like this incredible women's team? I have no clue.
I'm missing the boat here on Belgium, but they're a minus 29 favorite. That's incredible point spread right there for that. I might just put Puerto Rico just because that's so many points to be able to cover. The U.S. men's team covered their spread. I think they won by like 40 or 60 something, and their spread was like 40, so they covered that spread. But if you want to put some money down like that, go to betonline.ag, use the promo code LOCKEDON, get a 50% welcome bonus to your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Isaac Harris, couple of newsy things before we give our draft thoughts. Michael Finley is finalizing a new contract with the Dallas Mavericks that gives him an expanded role in their front office as assistant GM and vice president of player personnel alongside Dallas GM Nico Harrison. League sources tell Mark Stein. So correct me if I'm wrong. Now he is the assistant to two jobs?
Yeah.
Assistant to the GM and vice president of player personnel. No, he's assistant GM, not assistant to. That's an office reference.
Yes. Just an expanded role of what he played before. And, I think, we just saw some clarity from it today with Stein. We knew that he was going to be a part of this new regime, new decision-making thing. He's one of the few people that's carrying over from the past. And as far as what his role, what his title is, we didn't know, but now we know. And he's going to be a part of everything. And yeah, it was surprising to me when all this stuff went down with Nico and Kidd and all that it was just Finley staying in his normal role, that he didn't get some kind of promotion or something in this. And it turns out he did. He got another title there with the vice president of player personnel as well as assistant GM. So great for him. The other thing, this is from Joseph Hoyt. Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd confirms that Igor Kokoshkov is on his way to join the Dallas coaching staff. So it's another step further. It's the Mavericks are talking to Igor. Igor is going to be coming to the Mavericks soon. It is the Mavericks are on the verge of hiring
Igor, and now it's confirmed by the coach that he is coming and on his way to
And there's going to be another one too, because it hasn't been announced officially. So whenever that happens, then it will really then we'll have the same conversation again. So
the Mavs Summer League, we got the presser that the Summer League schedule has been set. I believe that your boys might be there in Vegas, possibly, maybe, if I can talk Isaac into it.
I was just looking up plane tickets.
If I can talk you into it. So August 9th versus the Sixers, August 11th versus the Jazz, August 14th versus the Nuggets, and August 15th versus the Kings. Those are the days for the Mavs Summer League team. We already know Josh Green is not going to be playing on the team, but should be great to go see Tyler Bay. Tyrell Terry should be there. It should be a great opportunity for those guys to show stuff after a season of just nothing, like G League bubble, and kind of that was it for those guys.
Tyler Bay, I'm really excited to see what.
I'm on full Baywatch.
Yes.
I'm on full Baywatch, and I may get a Baywatch T-shirt, and make it up.
Can you go running down the strip like Hasselhoff, and we do a parody of it? I'm on Baywatch.
Greatest idea you've ever come up with. I gotta lose some weight before then, because the slow motion I would not do well with the slow motion in the current shape that I am in. Let's just say that. So that is the Summer League. But tonight, the NBA draft. Go watch the Locked On NBA Draft Show. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I honestly think, and I'm 100% biased, I know this, I think it's going to be, after the ESPN show, the second best show out there, professional, put on, all the effects we have, all the way the studio looks. I mean, the guys we have. I mean, we have Chad Ford on. That's incredible. Rafael Barlow, he knows his stuff with the guys. John Krause is an incredible host for us on Celtics and Locked On NBA. We're gonna have almost every single one of our Locked On NBA hosts on there. We would be on there, but the Mavericks don't have a pick. If they make a trade, I'll probably be on there. I'll jump on, and so. Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely great time. It's going to be awesome. So it's going to be on the Locked On NBA YouTube channel. So go check that out. It's also streaming on WFAA if you want to go check that website as well. But let's just get our thoughts. What's your thoughts going into this draft? Anything at the top? The one thing that's really stuck out to me that we haven't talked about in this podcast is none of these, a bunch of these top guys don't want to go and work out for the Rockets.
Yeah.
That's been kind of surprising to me, and that's a team that, we look down the road and we can, the Mavericks kind of compare themselves to a lot at times, and that's brutal if guys don't want, already guys are trying to get away from them, it's like they're Sacramento or something like the Knicks, it's like teams don't want to go work out or play for that team. That was just fascinating to me that Mobley, Cade Cunningham, so I think it was Suggs too, some of these other guys just didn't even want to work out for the Rockets.
It does feel like they've been locked in on Jalen Green for a while, but yeah, I think seeing that report was a little surprising.
Well, it's pretty easy to lock into Jalen Green if Evan Mobley doesn't even want to go work out for you, right? If you have to make a choice, you're like, dang, it's a coin flip between these two guys. One of them is going to be this generational big. The other one is this really exciting, young prospect, so wing. Who do we choose? Huh? One of them doesn't even want to come hang out with us or go anywhere near us, so let's go with the other one.
When another prospect would rather go to Cleveland than your team, then there might be something going on. I know, everyone's talking about the Warriors. I'm so tired of talking about the Warriors. Every podcast, everybody in the world just talks about the Warriors.
Do whatever you want.
OKC is the team that I'm watching so much, and when it comes to
stuff.
Bigger predictions, I have 3 predictions.
Oh, I'm ready.
Besides the Mavericks, I do think the Mavericks make a trade on draft night. Is
that one of your 3?
I think, yeah, I do. I think that's one of my 3. I think the next time we record a podcast, we will be talking about a new member of the Mavericks.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm so excited for that.
So the other one, I think OKC moves into the top 3. I think when push comes to shove, that they move into somewhere in that 1 through 3 spot. Do they overwhelm Detroit at 1? Probably not. I'm looking at the 3 spot with Cleveland. And I think they cash their chips in, go get Mobley, and say, let's do this. They got to do this at some point. They got to get A-list star type players. So I'm watching them a lot. And then my third one is, I think Zaire Williams goes in the top 12.
Whoa.
I think somebody's going to be convinced of him.
Our Hornets host at 11 took Zaire Williams.
Whoa, really?
in our ultimate mock draft, and that has been the pick that we've gotten the most tweets and comments about as like one that was a reach that people didn't like at all, that they hated. Like even I think it was Walker Mel, our Locked On Hornets host, that made the pick, and his co-host Nada was like making fun of him on the podcast because he hated that pick so much. So that's a really interesting one, because now he's flying up draft boards. So it was maybe Walker Mel that had the foresight.
I know. 8 through 12, somewhere through there, I think Zaire Williams goes, and I think it's going to surprise some people. But when you look into him, and if you can write off the 1 year at Stanford and just look at the high school stuff, high school versus Stanford, it's wild. I mean, you're talking about a guy who was 8th in his draft class going into college. He was the player of the year in California. He had all the accolades, under 18 stuff. He went to, George Brand Classic. He's one of the main dudes of that draft class. And then he goes to Stanford, and it's such a weird year. It's the COVID year. He lived in a hotel for 6 weeks, like the rest of the team. He had death in the family, all this weird stuff that happened at Stanford, in addition to the fit. And I think he's the guy that I think it'll surprise some people. I love Book Knight. Book Knight's my guy, but I mean, everybody's predicting him in the top 10 now. So that's not even like that
one's already gone.
Yeah. It's not even a thing, but I think there's some polarizing guys that I'm just intrigued, like where they go. Where does Şengün go? Like,
that one's huge.
How high does he, go in the draft? How far does Kuminga drop? Davion Mitchell, like, how far, like, do they drop? Like, I think the Kuminga thing, if he goes outside the top 10, I think it's a steal at that point. I personally don't think he should go as far as like 9, 10, somewhere through there. I think the hate's going a little too far on that.
One of mine is watch the Grizzlies. That's a team that I am definitely like zeroing in on. I think that it seems like they're primed to make another move and do something there. Is it more players? Is it a higher pick? Is it something like, it just seems like they're really making a move. And then Chad Ford had another thing that team, like, hearing the Knicks are aggressively moving up in the lottery to acquire Chris Duarte. Like like the Knicks are at 16 or no, where are the Knicks?
19 and 21.
Knicks are, they traded in our draft. Sorry, I got thrown off there. They're at 19. So how far up do they have to go to get Chris Duarte? Like, where's that guy going? That guy is
probably
older
like
than
13.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, but the whole classic saying of, and I got weird mixed feelings on the whole, like, oh, the guy who could step in and play right now. That line just gets overdone for me. But, the Warriors pick at 14, like, Duarte is the perfect type of dude for them. So right. I think for them, it's like, hey, we have to get up into that, the Pacers. We know how much Rick loves rookies. And so if he does have to take a rookie, he'd probably like to take Davion Mitchell, Chris Duarte, like some of these older guys that can like play right now that won't have to do a ton of development stuff. So I think if you want Duarte, you're going to have to move up for him. But like Garuba, I'm so fascinated where he goes. There's some buyout stuff with Real Madrid. That's some like a crazy number for buyout for a guy like him. But I'm so excited. I love him. I love his motor. I love what he brings. He can't shoot very much, but I'm really intrigued where he goes.
A lot of good stuff. Isaac thinks the Mavericks will make a trade. I hope they make a trade. That would be awesome. So watch the live show, Locked On NBA YouTube. Also, Locked On NBA podcast. I will be hosting the Friday show with Rafael Barlow after the live stream. So it's going to be some great stuff, good content coming from the draft. Hopefully something crazy happens. I always want chaos, Isaac Harris. Chaos. That's what I always want, is chaos. So there you go, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
En el duelo con Tanaka va hacia afuera con Luka Doncic. Doncic empieza a mover la bola con los crossovers. Deja atrás a Edwards. El pase hacia afuera. Chanchar.
This episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Have you ever listened to a podcast like this one and you wanted to bring up your own point or just chat with other people that are listening at the same time? Well, let me tell you about Spotify Green Room. This is the first social audio platform made just for sports fans. The app is free to download, and once you're in, you can talk with us, other fans, athletes, insiders in real time about your favorite sport or team. Download the app, currently available on iOS devices. Create a profile, link your Twitter, join one of the groups for the latest league updates, and then you'll see us there. Spotify Green Room, changing the way we talk sports.